We're here this evening at the Lake Community Branch of the Stark County District Library with Kyle Kondik, who has been billed by WUOB as a national expert on elections and election analysis.
Don't believe everything you hear.
Well, Kyle is an Ohio native out of the Cleveland area. Went to Ohio University for his education and higher education level. How did you come to be interested in presidential politics?
So I only got into politics when I was in college. I actually was more of a history person. I was really interested in World War II. And so I started getting interested in presidents and so on and so forth, and started paying more attention to politics, particularly when I was in college. The 2004 election was going on. When I was at Ohio University, I was at the student newspaper, The Post, down there. And so I got involved in that, and I just started getting more and more interested until I went to work in newspapers at the Times Reporter in New Philadelphia, so just a little south of Canton. I was the editorial page editor at the Elyria Chronicle-Telegram, and then for 2 years I worked for Richard Cordray, who was a state attorney general in 2009 and 2010. I then went to go work for Larry Sabato at the University of Virginia Center for Politics, and so I got more and more interested in politics throughout that time, and now I kind of comment on it and analyze it every day.
And just touching on a few of the finer points of your presentation, expanding on it. And one of, I looked at the Suffolk University poll, which you didn't refer to specifically, sure, but I think that's the 3%
that's right,
difference poll. And I looked at the internals a little bit. Mm-hmm. And one thing that surprised me somewhat was at the presidential level, this particular poll showed 12.5% undecided.
Yeah, so there actually is a higher number of undecideds right now in this election, and also people who say they're going to vote third party. But a lot of the people who say they're going to vote third party, they aren't as certain in their choice as the people who say they're voting for Clinton and Trump, and so those third party candidates might, the support for those third party candidates might fade away a little bit, and the big party candidates might get more support. So, in 2012 we had this very stable election, particularly in Ohio. Obama consistently led in Ohio, but typically only by 1, 2, or 3 points. This election, you're seeing more of this going on. There's a lot of changes and fluctuations in the polls. But one thing that's interesting right now is that we've had 4 recent polls of Ohio, and Trump has led every one by about 3 to 5 points. So it may be that that Trump is now a narrow favorite in Ohio, but there's still time for that to change too.
And that's where the undecideds could change things.
That's right.
Significantly,
or
right?
The undecideds may just
go his way.
They may just decide to not vote.
Or not
That's
to
the
vote.
other part.
Okay. Okay. Is that a tendency among undecided?
It's possible, yeah, and you could see that, particularly because you've got typically when you look at undecided voters in these polls, they hold very negative views of both Clinton and Trump. Generally, it's pretty negative views of Clinton, very negative views of Trump. And so they may just decide, look, I'm not going to vote this time. I don't like the choices. So that's a possibility too. And it gets at a larger question about what the turnout in this election is going to be, because on one hand, you've got 2 unpopular candidates, a lot of undecideds, might indicate that the turnout might not actually be that good. The flip side of that is there's an immense amount of interest in this election, and that might actually suggest that the turnout will be a little bit higher. So it's kind of fluid at this point.
Okay, well, there you have it from one of the leading experts in the nation on presidential elections and elections analysis. Thank you, Kyle Kondik, for appearing on the Stark County Political Report.
Thank you.